In today's video, we will take a look at the island of Katchatheevu, which became a hot topic of concern after the PM of India brought up the issue during the recent no-confidence debate in response to the opposition's now expunged remarks. While the debate itself had a decisive yet predictable outcome, the same cannot be said for the future of Katchatheevu. Many people in India were unaware of the existence of the island, let alone its commercial and cultural relevance, until the remarks made by the Prime Minister of India. The Prime Minister said in his speech that Katchatheevu is an island between Tamil Nadu and Sri Lanka, and that it was given away to Sri Lanka under past leadership without the correct considerations. The statement brought the protracted problem between the two neighbouring countries front and centre. Let us take a closer look at the conundrum which is Katchatheevu and consider all the aspects of the situation. Katchatheevu is a remote deserted island in the Palk Strait. Volcanic eruptions in the 14th century led to its creation. During British administration, the 285-acre area was jointly governed by India and Sri Lanka. Its broadest point is a little over 300 meters wide and measures no more than 1.6 kilometers in length. The island doesn't have any permanent buildings, but it does have a Catholic church that hosts an annual pilgrimage that draws people from both countries. Additionally, Indian and Sri Lankan fishermen rely heavily on the waters near Katchatheevu as prime fishing grounds. Fishermen from both countries have traditionally fished in each other's waterways without any incident. The problem arose when both countries signed 4 maritime boundary agreements between 1974 and 1976. The agreement established India and Sri Lanka's international maritime boundary. Since then, the Tamil Nadu government has maintained that the contract was arranged without its express consent and that it has harmed the state's fishermen as they have been majorly prohibited from using the island for any purpose. As a result, Indian fishermen have constantly found themselves at threat from Sri Lanka's naval forces, with many arrests taking place in recent years. However, the border issue was put on hold from 1983 to 2009 as a terrible civil war raged in Sri Lanka, with the Sri Lankan naval forces concerned with cutting off the LTTE's supply lines located in Jaffna. Incursions by Indian fishermen into Sri Lankan waters were widespread. The Sri Lankans were wary of the large Indian trawlers, which not only overfished but also damaged Sri Lankan fishing nets and boats. Also, during the same time period, the Cold War rivalry between the United States and the Soviet Union led to both countries seeking allies in the region. India was seen as a potential ally of the Soviet Union, while Sri Lanka could be seen as a potential ally of the United States. This led to both countries vying for influence over Katchatheevu Island. At different points over the last few decades, there have been efforts to reclaim the land. The Tamil Nadu Assembly passed a resolution demanding the island's return in 1991, and in 2008, the then Chief Minister, Jayalalitha, petitioned the Supreme Court to overturn the agreements that handed the island to Sri Lanka. Even though the island is mostly uninhabited, each side's possession of it is more than a matter of pride. The island is noteworthy for 2 reasons. Firstly, the aforementioned St. Anthony's Church, which was a huge 20th century Catholic church, which has become important for people from both India and Sri Lanka. Every year, thousands of Indians travel to Katchatheevu for the annual pilgrimage, which is shared by both Indians and Sri Lankans. The second reason is that the island and its seas are rich in marine resources, and before India and Sri Lanka established their maritime borders, it was usual for fishermen from both countries to fish in its waters and utilize the island to rest and to take care of their nets. Indian fishermen have now been stripped of these fundamental rights which they had enjoyed for a large period of time, and their community is becoming increasingly frustrated with the current circumstances. Not to mention that there has been a steady decline of marine life in Indian waters, which has forced the issue to the forefront. India and Sri Lanka share rich history, strengthened by their bilateral ties, so there is confidence on both sides that a peaceful resolution can be found. As of now, Indian citizens can freely visit the island for the annual pilgrimage without any visa restrictions, but the freedom of the fishermen remains elusive. It may be difficult to understand the decision of past leadership to give up the land of Sri Lanka, but we must acknowledge the importance of reclaiming the rights of the Indian fishermen.